Hello there, out again, 2nd of January, so Happy New Year I suppose. I'm out just on a wee quick wild camp today. Just wanted to show you the modifications I've made to my Bobcat. I know a lot of you probably bought them when they went down in price to £50 recently. I bought a second one, so that's given me the opportunity to do these modifications and pass it on to you guys that may already own one or have just bought one or are planning buying a Bobcat. I'll talk a bit more about the tent in a wee bit. It's definitely one of my favourites. You can see my Bobcat up there just on the hill behind me. I'm not too far away from the car today, probably about a 20-minute walk, so I'm not going to pretend that I've walked miles. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the modifications. But first of all, I'll show you how I did them. So I'm going to send you back now to Camping Cali HQ and I'll speak to you in a bit. Hi there, welcome to Camping Caledonia HQ, aka my spare room. I'm going to take you through the modifications I've done to the Bobcat today. The main modification I've done is add 2 extra tie outs to the back side of the fly. Which helps pull away from the inner. Now the Bobcat comes with one tie out in the middle that pulls it away from the inner, but what that can lead to is the sort of sides, especially in uneven ground or if it's wet and windy, sort of sagging into the inner, and it can actually create little bits of puddles and whatnot. So what I've done is I've got some tie outs which are self-adhesive, so there's no stitching required to go into the actual nylon on the tent. I got these from Wild Sky Gear, which is a company that I've used before. I've got no tie-ins with them or anything like that. I'm just a happy customer. These are made of DCF, so they're super lightweight, so it's not going to add too much weight to your tent. Wee disclaimer, these are on the Wild Sky Gear website. It says they won't attach, or they're not recommended to be attached to silicone coated surfaces or silicone coated material, and the Bobcat is sil nylon, so shouldn't work, but it does. I've had these on my other Bobcat for a year and a half now in all conditions, hot, cold, wet, windy, and they're still on and still going strong. So we'll have a wee look at how these work and we'll get them on. What I'm also going to do is add some different guy line on, some heavier duty, easier to handle 4mm paracord. So enough of my chat, I will get on with getting this modification done for you now. Hi, so as you can see, I've laid the Bobcat out flat on the floor. All you're going to need for this pretty much is a tape measure, something to make a wee mark on it. I've got a Sharpie there, but if you want to use chalk or something else, I suppose you can. 4 fairly hefty books, and that's about it for now. You might need some weights to put on top of the books, but I'll show you that in a bit. Right, so we're going to make our first mark here. So from the very edge of this little centre triangle for the centre tie out, we're going to measure 48, 480mm, 48 centimetres along this seam here, and just make a wee mark with a Sharpie. And then what we're going to do is go down 90 degrees from that. So down from that line at 90 degrees. I mean, I'm not going to be getting a set square out, but don't be having it wonky like that or wonky like that. So from the middle of the seam down 30 centimetres, 300mm. We'll make a mark there. Then exactly the same for the other side, just from the edge of the centre tie out triangle. Make sure this is stretched out nice. Just make a wee mark at 48. and then at right angles down from that line. Again, looking to pull that fairly taut. Right angles from the line. 30 centimeters, 300mm. So I'm going to get the first book underneath where I can see the mark. You want to really try and make this as flat as you can, for obvious reasons. Get your wee mark somewhere in the middle of the book. The next stage is going to be to affix the tie out. So what you do is you just peel the backing off. You should be able to see that. Just comes off in bits. Try not and get your fingers on it too much. Once all the paper's off the backing, just line up and keep your wee triangle quite straight, sort of parallel with the hem at the top, and press it down nice and flat. No air pockets, no gaps. Press it all the way around. No crinkles, no creases. Then once that's down, you're happy that it's down nice and firm. Get another heavy book and put it on top. Then once the book's on top, I'm just going to stand on it with my not insubstantial weight for a minute or so. And that'll really press the tie out down between the books onto the fly sheet. I'm just going to repeat exactly the same on the other side. Again, making sure there's no crinkles or creases, sort of triangle facing up the way. Push it down. No air pockets, no creases, no crinkles. Just make sure it's nice and firmly pressed down. And I've done that. Top with another heavy book, and then what we can do is stand on it. Again, with my heavy weight pressing down on that, that's going to give it a good contact. Just stand here for a minute or so, and then we'll put the weights on it and leave it overnight to fix. So just to weigh it down while I'll leave it to fix, I'm just going to use a big pan of water. Probably weighs about 4 kilos, something like that, I don't know. But you can use anything, lifting weights or big pile of books or whatever, but just something to keep the weight down on the tie out in between the books. And we'll just do the same on the other side. Big pan of water. Just to keep the weight down on that book, pressing the tie out between the books. I'll leave that overnight, check it in the morning, that'll be plenty of time. This is exactly what I did the last time. So there you go, you can see there the two pans acting as weights on top of the book. As I said, I'll leave that overnight and see what I like in the morning. And then I'll also affix the replacement guy line. Okay, so I've let the tie out set overnight with the weights on top of them, and that's all nice and secure now. I've also cut guy lines, basically took the same length off the existing guy lines. This is just a thicker 4mm paracord, and obviously cut them 7 times because there's 7 guy lines needed for this tent now. I've just put a bowline knot at one end of the guy line, and fitted line locks to the other end for tensioning. So it's just a case now of feeding the line through on itself, pulling it right through, and there you have a fairly easy self lumen thing. There. There you go. So that's the guy line connected, and obviously you do that times 7 for each point. Yeah, so that's it. That's how I modify the Bobcat. I hope you found it useful / interesting. What I can say is that it really does improve the performance of the Bobcat, especially if the ground's slightly uneven, the pitch that you're at is slightly uneven, or if you know, the wind and the rain is battering. The 2 extra tie outs, let me tell you, just absolutely cracking, So yeah, let's get back camping. Okay, so I hope this comes out all right on the camera. There's the tie outs. I don't know how well you can see there, but they're nicely secured. They're not budging at all, fingers crossed. And you can see how it pulls out that section. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to make it out on the film, but without these tie outs, this point sags right down onto the inner. You can maybe see it better there straight on, how those 2 side ones that I've added pull the fly sheet out away from the inner. There's the right hand one. Yeah, so it's kind of this bit that can sag right down if these things aren't affixed. If you do have a Bobcat or planning to get one, I really do recommend it. Aye, well that's getting on to 3:45. Enjoying a couple of beers here. My sister gave me these for Christmas. Don't know if you can see that. They're Dog Falls beers. A bloody shadow. This one is a Inside Line American Pale Ale. Dog Falls Brewing Co. I think they're from Inverness, but anyone that's familiar with the African Tailway or Glen African in general will know exactly where the Dog Falls are. So Slange, and Happy New Year again. I hope everyone has an absolutely brilliant 2023. We'll get the crack and some more tent chatting a bit. I'm just going to enjoy the last of this sunshine. I'll turn you around. It's a beautiful evening here in the Galloway Forest Park. That's Loch Doon that you can see just below the sun setting over the top of the hills there. So mustn't grumble, eh? It's freezing cold. It's probably about 0 degrees, but I've got a few layers on, and I've got my wee burner that I can get going in the tent later on if it gets really cold. It's due to go to about -3, I think it said in the forecast, but you know, shoot you in, no problem. We'll cope with that. Right, I'll speak to you in a bit. Cheers guys. That's me all cozy in the tent now, just enjoying my last beer. It's about 8:30. I've had my dinner, usual noodles. What did I have? I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It's what is it? Korean style beef flavour naked noodles. I think they're fairly new in the market, but they're quite good. So yeah, enjoyed those. Also got my wee bottle of rum here. It's keeping me warm as well, along with the wee fire that's going there. The wee burner is going quite nicely. So yeah, thanks for clicking on the video, and hopefully
you find it interesting, the tie outs, the tie out modification. If you are a Bobcat owner or a prospective Bobcat owner, I would highly recommend doing it, because it keeps this inner safe from the fly sheet blowing into it or creasing into it if you're on uneven ground. So yeah, definitely worth doing. I would advise you to do it. I'll put links to all the kit that I used in the description. I'll put some on screen as well, but all the stuff, all the information, prices, etc. will be in the description. It's not an expensive job. I think the tie outs were £8 or something like that. That's all you really need to buy to do that. If you want to replace your guy lines, then obviously it's just a case of buying some paracord. But yeah, definitely worth doing, 100%. It turns what's a cracking wee tent into an absolutely brilliant wee tent. My own personal opinion. Yeah, I know the Bobcat's a bit Marmite. Some people hate it, I'm quite sure. But my own personal opinion is that it's pound for pound the best tent on the market. I mean, I paid £50 for this one. My original one I paid £70 for. I think they're usually on the market for about 90, 100 quid. It's 100 quid at the moment, I know that. So I'm quite sure a lot of people got them when they were on offer for £50 a couple of months ago. So aye, for an extra tenner and a wee bit of time applying those tie outs, it's totally worth it. Anyway, I'm going to scoop this beer and listen to a podcast or something like that. So I shall maybe catch up with you in a bit. If not, I'll speak to you in the morning. Good morning, that's me awake now. It's what's the time? It's just coming up for 8 o'clock, so yeah, decent sleep. It was cold outside, but it didn't get very cold overnight. In fact, it's got a bit warmer, and there's a fair bit of rain. According to my weather app on the phone, it's 4 degrees outside. It's supposed to be -2, so yeah, it's warmer, but it's wetter, so I'm gonna have to pack up in the rain. So I'll have a wee cuppa first, then get on with that, and then I shall hit the road. Well, that's me heading back for the car now. Very comfy night, very good sleep. I was up in that sort of rocks that you can see above me there. It's another good thing about the Bobcat. I'll stop banging on about the Bobcat soon, I promise. But you can get it into really tight spaces, so that's another tick in the box. I suppose negatives about the Bobcat, I can really only think of one, and that's that it's pretty small. Although having said that, you know, it's a metre high, so it's higher than some of the tents, you know, like the Banshee and whatnot. You know, if you're looking to get changed or sort some stuff out in the tent, you can stay inside and do whatever you need to be doing. And also the porch in it, or vestibule if you're posh, is really big for a one-man tent. So yeah. Ooh. There's a wee treat for you, me nearly taking the tilt. So now that I've regained my nerve, I think I'll sign off here. More or less back at the car now. So I'll hopefully catch you soon for some more wild camping stuff. Cheers for tuning in, catch you later.